Independence Party has been left in a state of disarray after its new leader, Diane James, quit the job just 18 days after taking over from Nigel Farage. Well, Stephen Woolfe, MEP, is the bookie's favourite to replace her as leader after being banned from running in the last contest when he handed in his papers late. He joins us now from Strasbourg. A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Woolfe. Are you going to be the new UKIP leader?
Well, that's all going to depend on the members of our party. Of course, I tried to stand before, and as Diane has faced, we had a National Executive Committee that makes it incredibly difficult for the elected politicians to be able to do their jobs. But I will tell you this, based on the numbers of emails and telephone calls from members that have asked me to stand again and represent this great party, I have taken that consideration. I have discussed it with my family, and yes, I will. I will do it once again, and I will take on the challenges that Nigel has faced, those within the party that seem to be doing us harm, but also looking forward very clearly to the 17.5 million people that voted for Brexit, the 4 million that voted for UKIP, and say that there is a party out there that is going to consider the issues of social mobility, and we're going to challenge in the northern areas where I was born, where I grew up, and say there is a party that's been listening to you for a long time, and we're now going to make sure that the policies work for you too.
This mess could have been avoided if you'd managed to hand your papers in on time last time. It wasn't a very good start, was it? A bit embarrassing.
Well, all I can say is the jury is out is actually whether that was actually true or not. What we can really face and what we know for certain is that there were people within
Do you think you did hand
the
your
senior
papers in on
executive part. Well, I think I presented a case to the National Executive that showed that I put my money in and the papers in before the deadline, and we tried to present to them very clearly that there were other reasons of why they should have accepted that. They decided not to. That was their choice, because as Nigel Farage has said, the National Executive Committee for some time is no longer fit for purpose. And I think the members are beginning to see that. And what Diane did today was an incredibly brave move in terms of accepting that she wanted to stay in the party, lead it, because it's an honour to do so, but due to family reasons and the personal reasons of which she's indicated with the National Executive frustration, that she had to step down. And I think that's an incredibly brave move by herself.
And of course, family reasons and personal reasons are one thing, but she did also say that she hasn't sufficient authority nor the full support of all my MEP colleagues and party officers to implement changes. Did you support her? Did you show her that support?
Well, I think I heard the committee of the MEPs today as we were talking about it, and we were all there, ready and willing to back and support Diane. We were waiting for her own meeting with us today, but clearly there are other issues that she has faced and decided are much more important to her, and family is very important to her, and I think that's a very important reason. And on a day like this, we shouldn't really be trying to find I am willing to stand there, and I look forward to the other members of UKIP who are strong and capable to actually come out there and challenge me and get on with the party and with the members and make sure we have a good election.
But it does all look a bit farcical, doesn't it, to people in the country who are looking and seeing they don't even know who's in charge. There was a lot of confusion this morning about whether Nigel Farage was or wasn't in charge still. We've heard about the bitter infighting. How possibly can you move on from this?
Look, the Electoral Commissioner made it clear, and we saw that today when we received information from them, that Nigel Farage is still regarded as the leader until such time as a new leader confirms in writing on the Electoral Commission's own documentation, and that will happen sometime later on this year. Yes, you're right. No one's going to hide from the fact that we've had some bitter infighting within the party. But already I have found by talking to MEPs here and being on the phone today that there is a willingness, a real strong willingness for those elected members and others to pull together now and ensure that those 4 million people who voted for us have a voice that is clear, direct, energetic, and is able to challenge the Labour Party and the Conservative Party should they move off their newly found social mobility message.
Why do you want to lead a party who arguably has done its job? We are coming out of the EU, job done, there we are. Why do you want to carry on leading this party? Why is it something that you want to take on?
Because there was always something very clear. that we wanted to leave the European Union, and I'm delighted that Theresa May has made them incredibly positive moves that she's done and had the people in charge that that will carry that message forward. But in this country, there is a requirement for social mobility. I saw it growing up and I saw it campaigning across the streets. The need for people who are suffering through housing where prices are too high for their children or they can't afford to get on the ladder, where they're seeing the difficulties of getting into schools, where roads are filled up and they're having difficulties getting to work, where they've got disabled people who have been challenged, or whether they actually are disabled to get their benefits. And what we're saying is that this is the party that listened on immigration, we listened on the issue of Europe, and we're going to listen on those issues too. And not only that, we're going to be there for the small and medium-sized businesses that have had difficulties over the past few years and keep the pressure on the Conservative Party. We've managed to do that on a whole raft of issues, and you can see when you look at Theresa May today, it was almost like listening to one of my speeches at UKIP. It was a very UKIP-based speech, and all the good for her.
OK, Stephen Woolfe, many thanks indeed for your time. Let's take you live now.
You didn't frankly have the balls to put country before party.